And if you talk a little bit louder. Just
okay, and I guess, one of the things that happens in a trial, you hear one side, you say, oh, that sounds like perfect sense. And then you hear the other side, you say, oh, that sounds perfect sense. So you're sort of going back and forth and back and forth. Now, unfortunately, in this case, other than the cross-examinations,
I'll probably hold it.
other than the cross-examinations of the toy company, I'm sorry, other than the cross-examinations of the O.M.G. girls' side, we never really heard the presentation of the toy company side. And just now after the trial, the owner of the toy company was saying, well, we got patents and so on. We were allowed to do this. So, I didn't. So,
but that's weird that they're saying that they were allowed to do it, but then they're claiming that they didn't copy them.
Right. They're saying that when they got their copyright or their patent or whatever it was, whoever was the patent people, they basically said, well, okay, the O.M.G. girls maybe have their clothes, but copyrighted, but they don't have everything else copyrighted, and so we are allowed to make the dolls. That's what he said. Now, I would like to hear his argument and what happened. So I don't know, but from what I heard, the fact that they put O.M.G. dolls on the box, I can't believe it's just a coincidence. I know O.M.G. is used by a lot of people, but I mean, O.M.G. dolls, and they look so much like the O.M.G. girls that I have no doubt whatever that was deliberate, and it was to confuse people. And the witnesses who gave depositions, they were confused. They really thought these were replicas, in some sense, of the O.M.G. girls, which the other side is saying, oh no, they weren't. I just found that very difficult to believe.
So what did you think when they had the all-white outfit of an older group, and then they had the all-white outfit of the O.M.G. girls, and then they were saying like, oh, well, we could have got inspiration from these people, but the outfit looked exactly like the O.M.G. outfit.
I mean, I just didn't believe that. I mean, I just thought these are too similar to be not intentional. That's now, I just at the end here, a few of the jurors, I don't think maybe agreed with me. But I mean, to me, it was not a coincidence that the names were so similar, the outfits were so similar, and of course they're saying, well, exactly what is the image? Is it just the clothes? Is it layered? Is it the names? To me, you put it all together, I have no doubt that they were trying to take advantage of the O.M.G. girls' popularity.
So what do you think about, there was this charity event, and at the charity event, somebody said something about an offer about the dolls. Do you believe that there was an offer?
I really didn't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they made some kind of an offer, but it might have been a minimal offer. In other words, we'll give you this amount of money. And I was also very curious if this had eventually, trial had gone through, there would probably be expert witnesses that would say, how much should the compensatory damages be and all that kind of stuff. And I was sort of curious if they had agreed to something at that concert, how much would it have been for? And typically, what percentage of the O.M.G. girls' profits would have been given to the O.M.G. girls? Yeah. I had no idea whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%. I was curious as to what that would actually be, but. I mean, of course, we only heard the one side, but I really sided with, from what I heard, with the O.M.G. girls. And also, as I just explained to the woman attorney who was on the toy company side, I thought it was a little offensive that she went into all the dirty language. And I mean, look, I am as profane as anybody you ever want to meet.
Right. That's so you're talking about when, okay, so during the trial, she kept attacking Zonique for using the N-word, using profanity and things like that.
And her mother.
Yes.
And what's her, Tiny.
Yes.
She attacked Tiny, and I'm thinking, what are you doing this for? I mean, you're just trying to rile up people's racist feelings against black people by saying this is how they talk and this is what they do, and it's like, what does that have to do with this case? I mean, I just, I wouldn't have held that against her in deciding a final decision, but I just thought, you know,
You felt like it
You-
had racist undertones because
I
it was
did.
a mainly white jury. So
Absolutely.
you thought that she was trying to appeal to maybe somebody in the jury is racist and this will
exactly.
resonate with them.
That's basically how I felt. So
Yes.
Anyway, it was interesting. It kept my attention. But the other thing that sort of bothered me was it was so repetitive.
It was.
I mean, they asked the same questions over and over and
It
over.
was.
This piece of clothing, that piece of clothing, this hair, that hair. I mean, it's like, come on, I'm going
Right.
to explode if you don't stop this. You know,
Right.
we get it. I mean, if they just said, look, we want to show that this image is this thing, you know, but I mean, they just kept hammering and hammering and hammering at it as if we're so dense that unless they tell us that 50 times, it's not going to sink in. But
Right,
anyway.
right. Okay, so last thing, on the way walking over here, you talked about how, I don't think we got it on video, but you talked about how there was a girl who purchased like 60 OMG dolls.
Right, she was the last.
How did you feel about that?
Well, she's the one who I think caused the mistrial, because in the sense that she went off and said, look, they're clearly copying this. And when I found out about it, I was really PO'd, and I'm not going to buy any more of these dolls. And what they're doing, I think, is unethical. And I was really annoyed that they did it and so on. Frankly, I agreed with everything she said. However, I don't believe that was the question she was asked to give her opinion. And so I
Right.
was shocked that she was allowed to say all that.
I felt like it was a tactic because any other time during the trial, they immediately, when somebody's about to go off course, they
Right.
immediately stop them.
Yeah, why isn't
So
somebody
I'm like,
stopping her?
why? Like nobody stopped the video. I felt like it was a tactic to get a mistrial because why wouldn't they stop it?
Well, when I just asked outside when we met in the hall, I asked the party on the other side about that, and she said that they had asked the judge to strike that and do an oversight. He thought they were talking about something else, and it got through. But the implication was they were trying to get that struck. Now, maybe that was just a story. I don't know.
And that part I believe, but once it was in court and playing
yeah,
before
you
you
can't-
guys, I was wondering why they didn't say, hey, judge, pause it, like stop it.
No, exactly. And maybe they can't. I mean, I would think maybe during the deposition, I assume that during the deposition there's a lawyer there from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And why didn't they stop it?
Right.
Now maybe they have to let it go, and then before the trial ask the judge to strip that out. You know, take things out that were inappropriate, like asking inappropriate questions or something like that. But during the whole deposition, there was no objection to anything. They were just allowed to
Go on a rant.
go, you know, to just say whatever they wanted to say. But until that last deposition, I didn't really see anything that was questionable. But that one was like, whoa, you know, she's telling us what the decision should be in the case and why it should be this, and she's not just telling us. But
Right.
she had bought all these dolls, and when she found out the O.M.G. girls had nothing to do with it, she was hurt, and I don't blame her.
Right,
So-
right. Well, I don't want to keep you for long. I
All right.
appreciate you so much for talking to us. I was really, really wondering what you guys were thinking while you were up there. You can watch this on Neek at Night. I'll write it down for you
Write
somewhere.
it down for me, please.
But yeah, so thank you to one of the jurors. He was very, very honest in everything that he said because I was thinking some of the same things too. So
All right.
there you go. Bye, you guys.
So write down for me what the